What's up, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another video. I got my buddy Wolfgang Poker here with me.
Let's go.
The beautiful view outside of the Bellagio where we're playing right now, and there's a bunch of games going on. There's like 5-1-3s, 5-2-5s, 5-5-10s. We'll try to bounce back from might play some 5-10. I'm trying to bounce back from last video, but if you haven't heard of Wolfgang Poker, check him out. He's a TikTok star.
Check him out on TikTok too. We're gonna be pushing his
YouTube videos. Also pretty good too. So feel free to check that out. And I don't know, another night in Vegas. Let's run it up. We are back at the 5-10 in Bellagio with a buy-in of $1,500, and first hand in, we've got ace-jack off in the small blind playing six-handed. There's an under-the-gun limp, action folds to me, I raise it up to $40, and we get the under-the-gun limper to snap call. Let's go to a flop, which comes deuce 3-4 rainbow. On this flop with a gutter and two overs, I'm going to see bet $35 here, expecting sometimes ace-high to be good, but with this bet, he makes the call, so let's evaluate a turn. The turn's a 4, top pair is paired now, and out of position, I think I can definitely play this face up and check here, but for some reason, I decided to fire out $120. He doesn't think too long before making the call, so now it seems like he has a middling pocket pair like pocket 5s, 6s, sometimes 7s or 8s, but I'm not sure how often someone's going to be limping this under the gun. Anyways, let's go to a river, which is the king of spades. If there's ever a card for us to bluff on and fire our third bullet on, it's this one. Assuming ace high is no good here, I throw out another bet and sizing up here to $300. He thinks, doesn't look too comfortable, but end of the day, does toss in a call. We show our trash ace high, and he has pocket 7s for the winner, starting off hot with a failed bluff. We top back up to $1,500, and this next hand with queen 10 of diamonds in the hijack, action folds to me and I open it up to $30. Small blind makes the call. Flop is ace 10, 3, 2 clubs. He checks, and with middle pair here, ace-high boards certainly will hit my range more often, and I can definitely c-bet this, but I check it back and see a turn. The turn is the queen of clubs. Improved, he checks again, and now feeling really good about my hand, improving the two pair. I throw out $50 for value, and he doesn't think too long before calling, so hopefully we'll see a brick river and go for two streets. The river is the 5 of hearts, pretty much the total brick we wanted to see. He checks, I throw out another bet of $130. This time he goes deep into the tank for a while, maybe some sort of queen X holding, but ultimately makes the call, show our queen 10 two pair, and take this pot down. Here under the gun, playing six-handed, it allows me to widen up our opening range. I have ace-jack off and open it up to $40, and only the player to my left makes the call. He also posted as well for the big blind, so we're going heads up out of position. Flop is ace, king, 5, 2 hearts. With a board that smashes my range and against an unknown player, I decided to check here, not thinking we can get 3 streets of value with top pair and a mediocre kicker. But when I check here, he throws out a bet of $50. I'm obviously not going anywhere on this board texture. I make the call. The turn is a queen, and we check to play in flow now, given the action on the flop. He throws out another bet of $100, and I really don't think he should have too many value hands here, besides a hand like king, queen, or ace 5. Anyways, I have a gutter, it's a decent ace, so I make the call with the best one pair holding. The river now comes a jack. Alright, it's a scary board, but this definitely obviously improved my hand over other two pairs. And in addition to that, this player shouldn't have too many 10x's in his range given the action. So once again, I check to allow him to keep barreling if he does have bluffs. He bets out $260. I'm going to snap call and snap this one off. He says that I'm good and mucks his hand, so we take it down without having to show our hand. And turns out we made the max in this hand as he was bluffing the whole way. We get moved from the must move to the main game, and first hand in, we get dealt pocket jacks and +1. I open it up to $30. The cutoff makes the call. Now the small blind 3 bets to $140. Action back to me, and as I was sitting down the hand right before this, I saw this player 4-bet jam $1,300 with king queen offsuit in a queen 9-4 flop. So I'm unsure how he plays, but seemed like a little bit of an overplay given that situation. But coming in blind, not sure what's going on, we make the call and the cutoff folds. Heads up to a flop, which comes 8-4 deuce 2 diamonds. Now he leads out and puts in an overbet to $400. Well, puts my hand in a pretty horrible spot. With about $1,800 in my stack, it's really just a jam or fold, and I'm really unsure how often this guy is betting ace king, ace queen of diamonds, or overplaying a hand like pocket tens or pocket nines in this situation. So those are really the only hands that we are 100% ahead of, and there's also all of the pocket queens, kings, and aces we lose to. Thinking sometimes we just have to be uncomfortable here to make money, and against what we saw from the previous hand right before, him overplaying king queen off, I guess I'm inclined to rip it all in. So we do that, rip it all in for $1,800 total as he covers us, and he thinks for about 15-ish seconds before making the call. So that can't be good when he does call fairly quickly. Let's go to a run out. The ace on the turn sucks for us, but it really doesn't matter because this player shows pocket queens, and we get stacked. He makes max value from us, and onto the rebuy station. Following spot after that big one, unfortunate hand for us, ace nine of diamonds in the small blind. There are 4 limpers to me. I'm going to toss in $5 more for a call for 10, since raising this out of position seems pretty bad. Now the big blind raises to $60 with his option. 3 of the 4 limpers call this $60 and onto me now. In the small blind, horrible position. Definitely can play this easy and fold, but we don't do this, and we put in $50 more as it seems like a pretty good price to call. Let's see a flop full of diamonds. The flop comes ace, king, 6, 2 spades, and this is the issue about playing ace 9. I really don't feel great even with my ace, and I feel like we have kicker issues. So I check. The big blind insta throws out a bet of 210. Action folds around to me. Once again, another tricky situation out of position. I'm pretty convinced here that he has a bigger ace, and I don't know, I'm gonna let this one go. I'm not feeling too confident with his hand and not happy with how I played it overall. Next, with ace jack off in the big blind, once again out of position, button opens to 30, small blind folds. Certainly can 3-bet this one, but I'm gonna be a little bit more passive here after losing a bunch earlier. I make the call. Flop comes 10, 9, 7, 2 clubs, so overall, decent flop with 2 overs and a gutter. I check, he bets out $50. Really large bet here considering it's such a wet board. I think I'm probably being a little too sticky here, but I decided that 50 was enough for me to call and see a turn as a non-believer. The turn is an 8, which is absolutely beautiful considering now we have the second nuts. I check, he bets out $140, and now obviously putting in the check raise, trying to get stacks in at this point. I size up to 550, which is pretty large, and action back onto him. He doesn't take too long before ripping his entire stack in there, and he covers me, which is about 1,400 effective. I'm honestly just never folding when we hit our miracle turn, so I call, and we're off to a run out. The river is the ace of spades. It's pretty inconsequential. He shows jack 8 off suits, and we're gonna chop it up. I guess we are really the fish at this table, calling on the flop really light and sucking out for a chop. The next hand, finally, another premium, pocket kings, still in the big blind though, playing hands out of position. There's a hijack limp and a button raised to $50. We're out of position, love this spot against someone whom I'm thinking is playing a little tight, honestly. So here, we raise it up 4x to $200. The limper snap folds, and now the button thinks for a little bit, and unfortunately folds himself. So we make like 60 bucks on this hand, not really getting max value from pocket kings as we'd like to. If there's ever a theme of this video, we're back in the big blind once again with 6-9 of hearts. Hijack opens to 30. There are 2 callers to me, and for $20 more, I'm gonna make the call here. Suited with these double gappers, I don't know, we're calling with a pretty good price and seeing a flop. So we're going multi-way to a flop, which comes ace, 6-9, 2 diamonds. Obviously a hell of a flop for us, very disguised 2 pair here. Action checks around to the button, who throws out a bet of $50. The small blind folds, and now onto me. I definitely want the hijack player in here as possible, as he seems to be playing pretty loose and opening fairly wide. Also, it seems like the button is very incentivized to bluff given the flop action, so I decide on a call to slow play this, maybe get the hijack in there, but nah, he folds, so we're still going heads up to a turn. The turn is the 5 of hearts. Not amazing, as 8-7 does get there. As played, I check to play in flow, and now the button throws out a bet of $160. This sizing is pretty good for me, honestly, really large. And now given how I played it on the flop and slow played, I don't think I have to raise just yet. Maybe we can let this button hang himself if his draw misses or something, but if we're against 8-7, we can control the size of the pot out of position. I call 160, and we go to a river, which is the 10 of clubs. Don't love this. It's really connected board now, and there are a lot of ace X's that have certainly improved. I check. He throws out a bet of $240, and now, given this board texture, I don't think I can really raise now with essentially bottom 2 pair. So with that said, I'd make the call, pretty standard, easy call. And once again, turns out he was bluffing the whole time as he mucks his cards, and we actually don't have to show our 6-9. So once again, making max value against players who are trying to bluff into us. Next, can you guess it? Of course, we're back in the big blind, this time with ace-jack of hearts. Cutoff opens to 30, folds to me. I've certainly seen him push the action here, so easy 3-bet spot for us. I size up to 4x to $120. He quickly makes the call. The flop is ace, king, king, rainbow. He seems to be very bluff prone and bluff heavy, so I don't really know, once again, if I can get 3 streets of value anyways on this kind of a board. So I check, and he actually ends up checking it back. The turn comes the 9 of clubs. Obviously, we have to go for value now. I put in a delayed C-bet to $80. And once again, it looks like he has an easy decision to make. He calls fairly quickly. The river now is a 3. Now, really just trying to target ace X or maybe even a sticky 9. Not entirely sure, but definitely going for value. I bet out $230. He goes into the tank and thinks about it for about 45-ish seconds before making the call, show our hand, take this pot down. Not really sure what he could have had and not sure what I was doing here, but we're going to win the hand and get chips scooped in our direction. This hand, finally, for the first time in this video, I think, we're not in the big blind. We have pocket queens in middle position, and I opened this up to 30. We only get the small blind player to make the call. He's been very active in this game, playing a very wide range. We're going to a flop, which comes 9, deuce, 3, rainbow. On this really dry board, he checks to me, and easy C-bet spot, I size to 40. He calls really quickly. We're off to see a turn. The turn is the 4 of hearts. It's a much more connected board, and when he checks to us again, we'll definitely have to go for value, but now it's all about sizing. I think in this spot, given how wide his range is, he can certainly have a lot of pair plus draws here, maybe pair plus flush draws, some combo draws, a bunch of random stuff. So I size up to $120. Now, given this action, he actually puts in a check raise, sizes up to 330 with about $800-ish behind this bet. Against this kind of player type who has been playing extremely wide, he's also been fairly aggressive as well. I'm going to go with my overpair, I think. Maybe, not entirely sure, maybe this is an overplay, but I think a lot of his 9x holdings, combo draws, whatever they may be, they're going to have to call off a 3-bet jam. So with that said, let's embrace the variance. I rip it all in. It's about $1,100 effective. The moment I do that, he snaps it. That's not a good sign. If you ever see a snap from an all-in, you know you're dead. The river's a 9. I show my hands, pocket queens, and he is not happy at all. Looks like I sucked out on him. Maybe some sort of lower 2 pair, 3-4, deuce 4. Nice to have this set go my way, and once again, we're getting stacks in bad, but sucking out on the river, living that luck box life. The last hand of this video will go over, pocket aces in the big blind playing 5-handed. There's a cutoff open to 30, seems like he doesn't want money. The button calls as well, the small blind also calls, so it seems like we have 3 players who hate money. Yeah, we're gonna go 3-bet this one and size up to 170. Action folds back to the cutoff, who folds, button folds, and now back to the small blind. I'm expecting him to fold all the time, but he actually calls? Seems like he is the person out of the group that hates money the most. Unsure what that range is like, but anyways, we're going to a flop. Flop is Jack 7 deuce rainbow. He pauses for a little bit, a few seconds or so, and then checks. On such a dry board, and I'm really unsure what the small blind flat / calling range is like against a 3-bet range, I'm going to check this one back on a very safe flop and slow play. The turn comes the King of Hearts. Overall, really terrible card, as looks like we can't get much value from Jack X. Now it really looks like I have Ace King, considering it does smash my range and the line I took on the flop. He checks again, and I definitely have to bet though. I size pretty small to $130, but sadly he folds. Looks like we really missed value on the flop there, It's hard to misplay aces here, but seems like I did so this time. Anyways, this wraps up the session and we end up racking up. All right, racking up and wrapping up this session here at 510. Honestly, I survived, I guess. We only played 3 hours. I would have loved to play a little bit longer, but it's 2 a.m. and I've got a meeting in the morning, so had to rack up and leave and try to get some sleep. We kind of survived. Man, I don't really know. I'm just trying to play a lot more 510 to try to be a little more comfortable with the game, but I know skill level wise, there's a lot of studying and a lot of work I need to do. That Jack's hand, I think it's really indicative where I feel like calling is just a little too loose, and if I'm calling to target like very few specific hands, and even those hands that I'm ahead of are like pretty much flipping, probably should just let them go and lay them down. But yeah, gotta really make those harder laydowns and make them more consistent. But yeah, stacking off for 2K or 1800 there is not ideal with Jacks. But end of the day, we were in the game for 3,700, out of it for 3,503. So we did crawl back and make a little bit of a comeback, which is nice. So down 200 bucks, and 510 is pretty much not really a whole lot. We're breaking even. So hopefully you enjoyed this vlog, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like I said, we got a lot more Vegas action coming up. We're trying to visit some new spots, trying to definitely play at the Win, trying to play at the Golden Nugget, maybe if we can mix in the Venetian, other spots like that. But yeah, Bellagio was a good time, a lot of games and selections, and just trying to find some good ones and shows off some new rooms on the vlog. So be on the lookout for that. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.